Now to a conversation with an Olympic gold medalist originally from Vermont who's staying closely connected to the world of freestyle skiing. Hannah Carney grew up in Norwich and now lives in Park City, Utah. She competed in moguls, the discipline where skiers are judged on a combination of turns, jumps, and speed. Carney won Olympic gold in 2010 in Vancouver and bronze in Sochi in 2014, along with more than 40 World Cup wins. In Milan Cortina, she's serving as an analyst for NBC's broadcasts of moguls and aerials. Carney spoke with Jack Thurston about her work for NBC and about how she successfully advocated for a new competition to be added to the 2026 Winter Games.
It's been really fun to be a color commentator. It allows me to stay in touch with the sport that was such a big part of my life. And it's one of the few things I've done since I retired from sport that I get the same adrenaline from, because we're going live on the air a lot of the time, and that's same as a live performance when you're skiing. So it's fun to have the adrenaline, but it is a totally different skill set. You're supposed to be impartial, which is especially challenging if in this situation I do strength and conditioning work with one of the athletes from Team USA. So not only do I have like a professional relationship with them, I also have a personal relationship, and it becomes really hard. But you are supposed to be impartial, at least from an analytic perspective. Performances should be analyzed regardless of nation. The hardest thing is to not say we when you're representing the Americans, because like clearly I'm an American, so it's hard not to be like, oh, and I've also been in their shoes as an Olympian. So that's one of the challenges, is to not say we. They're separate. I'm just the person talking.
What goes on in an athlete's mind right before leaving the starting gate?
For myself, I would usually have one or two words that kept me in the moment. So some technique that I was working on, something technical about my run that I wanted to focus on without overthinking it. So it'd be like right hand forward or eyes look to the left off the top jump. And other than that, it was kind of like let it go. So keeping it really simple and happy. I usually try to smile in the start gate, knowing that would like relax my body, even if it was fake. Your body can't tell the difference and releases the chemicals to be like, no, we're calm and we're okay. And also, you train for all these years and days to do something that you love because it's fun. So remembering that when the pressure feels really high.
Aside from broadcasting, what are some other ways that you are staying involved in the sport that you love?
I became a FIS athlete representative. So FIS is just the International Ski Federation. And I ended up representing all freestyle athletes at these meetings where important rule changes take place. That's where I found out that that's how you get new events into the Olympics. And so I pushed other nations, because I couldn't propose it myself, but I pushed nations to propose dual moguls as an Olympic sport. And it was in just one cycle accepted by the International Olympic Committee. So in 2026, dual moguls will be an Olympic sport for the first time.
What can viewers expect from this new competition that you had a hand in bringing to the Olympics?
Dual moguls are very exciting. So hopefully people have seen, usually early on in the Olympics, single moguls, where the athletes come down, navigate like 250 meters of bumps, and then complete 2 jumps as well, and do it as quickly as possible. Dual moguls is simply head to head. So dual, you can either think of it as like we're dueling, like we're fencing, or duel as in 2 people. So there's a line down the middle of the same exact mogul course, and now 2 people are on it at the same time. And it's a head-to-head bracket system, which is complicated. It's all about rankings basically, and you get bracketed out 16 against 1, 2 against 15, etc. And then single elimination, winner takes home a gold medal. It's both simple and exciting. So it's scored, the turns and the speed and the jumps are all weighted in the same manner, but it's judged with flags instead of a point system. So each judge has 5 points, and they either give 5 to one person, 0 to the other, or down to 3 versus 2, and then the person with the most points goes on to the next round. And so you'll end up skiing 4 or 5 runs in order to bring home a medal for your country. And it's faster because all of a sudden when someone's skiing next to you, you're inevitably going to ski faster than you thought you were capable of, which of course then also means bigger crashes and lots of excitement.
Can viewers expect to see the same athletes who competed in single moguls compete in dual?
That's a great question. There are athletes that are better at dual moguls because they happen to like skiing faster, things like that. But given the rule, the limitation on adding new sports to the Olympics is always how much it costs to add more beds. So like this housing the athletes, and the cost of that. And so the like caveat here was that the athletes have to be the exact same. So it's the same exact athletes in single moguls as in duels, and they only have like a day or two in between to rest or train or recover. So it's going to be a lot of it'll be like a conditioning competition as well, because these athletes will train for 3 or 4 days, competed in the Olympics in single moguls, have maybe 1 day off or 1 day to train, and then they're back in this head-to-head competition right away.
Did you ever compete in dual moguls?
Yes, dual moguls, that's been around. It's been a world championship event for over 20 years. So, and actually, the World Cup Tour, they changed the way that sometimes points were given, but you always competed in both moguls and dual moguls on a World Cup Tour, and usually the results counted the same. So, in order to win, say, a Michaela Schifrin Crystal Globe, those overall season titles, you had to compete in both because they all counted the same. They have now separated those out, and they're 2 separate titles, but I cannot name an athlete who only does one or the other. So it's very much the same. The skill set's the same. It's a more like a mindset shift to go as fast as you end up going in dual moguls. But it's really fun. There's always people you want to ski head to head against. You're like, I know my turns are better than them. Why do they keep beating me? Give me a chance to ski right next to them. And then vice versa. There were people you didn't like to duel for whatever reason. Maybe they pushed you beyond your comfort zone, or whatever the reason. It's like a fun, totally different dynamic in dual moguls, but it'll be unbelievably exciting.
I just rewatched before talking to you today a story that I did in 2014 when your former elementary school sent you off.
Thank you for supporting me.
Tuesday, the school Carney attended as a little girl sent her off to Sochi with construction paper medals, hoping she'll bring the real thing back to Norwich from next month's Olympics.
I hope she wins. I think she's going to do really good, though. Yeah, I hope she's going to get a gold medal.
People are very proud of her. The students were very excited to have her come today.
Even though the Olympics, the focus is on this world scale, nations, the globe, really, individual communities, places like Norwich often find themselves in the spotlight because those are the communities that send their hometown heroes to the world stage. How mindful are athletes of the hometown support?
Now being able to do Zoom interviews and to talk to people, send social media messages from your hometown, I think makes people feel more connected. I think as an athlete, you're like training day in and day out and competing in World Cups every year. But the Olympics are special and they're different. And part of the reason they feel different is that the community gets involved. So I will never forget being a young, I think 5th grader, playing my trumpet, learning how to play the national anthem for the sole purpose of having this celebration to send off a Norwich Olympian to the 1998 Olympic Games. And so it became just the norm. Like, that's what you do. You go to elementary school, and every few years you get to be part of the celebration to send off someone from your hometown to the Olympics. And it made it seem more attainable to me. I'd always wanted to be part of the Olympics, but being part of that celebration made it seem like, okay, well, this is just something we do. And then it became a true full circle moment when in 2006, heading off to my first Olympic Games, I was up on the grandstand while the other elementary school kids were playing instruments and sending me off with their cheers and their homemade medals. And that happened for the next 2 Olympic Games I went to as well. Norwich and the Marion Cross School got together and sent me off. And that doesn't happen for regular competition. So that's what makes the Olympics better and special. Once you buy in, it's pretty fun to be a part of Team USA, and you'll start to see how many people, how many athletes, commentators, people involved in the Olympics are from New England. The ties are immense. I think if New England was its own country, we would be winning a lot of medals. We'd be doing well in the medal count. So yeah, be a super fan. Everything will be live on Peacock. And then the nighttime show, primetime show, will not be live, but it'll be really curated to give fans kind of like the best stories from the day. So that's the time you get out your popcorn, put up your feet, and just like cheer for Team USA. Even if you already know the results, you're going to get some cool backstories about both the athletes and the venues and the country during that primetime show.